and having that telepresence would certainly make her life easier and my life easier. Is this something we'll see in the next 5 years, 10 years? How soon?
This is something we hope to launch by the end of this year. So something you should see
better.
by certainly by the beginning of 2020.
By 5 months maybe, as opposed to
yeah, as opposed to years, which is great. And then, the next generation of people looking to get in this industry, what advice would you give them? It's a dynamic, changing industry, right?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, we should probably each answer, but my advice would be focus on providing value to your customer. Think about the doctor. How do you make her or him more efficient? How do you make their lives easier? And if you do that, you're going to win.
Yeah,
I think that's a great answer. And I think for someone who's looking to get into this space, I think to Bill's point, that's absolutely the number one thing. I think also focusing on technology. Increasingly, to be a competitor in the healthcare space, you really have to have the technology solution that's compelling, that is a good fit for the need in the market. We have 350 plus IT R&D team members just working on that platform.
Wow.
But of course, on day one, we started much smaller.
Yeah.
So someone can come into this market, start smaller, but technology being really central to that approach.
That's awesome. Can we switch gears a little bit and get in some trouble?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Both of you. I like the enthusiasm. The market's not even closed yet, and we're talking about getting into trouble. Let's put our corporate hat aside, and we're going to let our viewers know a little bit about both of you, maybe on a personal basis. So I'm going to ask you some random questions. When you're not working, where can we find you?
Spending time with my family. So I love spending time with my family, like skiing in the winter.
Nice.
Involved in our church.
Nice.
So also my family, my wife and my daughter, and we just came back from 2 weeks in Switzerland hiking in the Alps.
Very nice. So I assume you both have an iPhone or an Android device?
iPhone.
Yep.
What's your favorite app?
That's a good question.
So my favorite, when we were in...
Bill's going in there.
So just coming back from Switzerland, they had a fantastic app that integrated all the public transportation. So it would see where you were.
And give
it
you
would
the
say,
options.
walk 3 blocks to the train station, take the train here, then you catch a cable car over here, and then you get to this lake, and here's the ferry across the lake.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe New York City can.
Right. That was probably the best transit app I've ever seen.
That's
Totally
awesome.
seamless. Worked in a lot of different languages.
Interesting. Steve, what about you?
I think my favorite app, not to be canny, is MTBC's PHR app. So it's a patient portal app that patients can use to communicate with their healthcare provider.
Okay.
You can review clinical notes, schedule your appointment. If you have an outstanding balance, pay that balance, and do a whole variety of other
So
things.
handle all the things you need to do.
End to end. Never have to pick up the phone to make a telephone call to schedule an appointment or be reminded of an appointment, or even check in. On the day of check-in, can use that app to check in as opposed to going to the front desk.
Yeah, great. Last question. As you both look at your career, any advice stand out, that someone maybe gave to you that has rung true throughout your career?
Maybe Bill, why don't you start and then...
It's not all that different than the advice for the young kids. It's just always focus on adding value in your business. Help the business to grow. Look for the biggest problems and solve the biggest problems. So don't run away from them.
Yeah.
Just embrace them. Never say it's not my job. Just say I can go get this fixed.
Good advice.
That's phenomenal advice. And I think also not being afraid to try new things. I'm an attorney by background, enjoyed practicing law, but frankly had an opportunity from the founder of this company, Mahmoud Haq, to join as initially in an attorney role, an attorney capacity, then had the opportunity to move into the COO role and the president, eventually CEO.
Yeah.
He was willing to take a chance on me moving into a different area. And I think my suggestion would be to always be open to going outside of the paradigm that maybe you find yourself in.
Yeah, and I think particularly for young kids, it's getting out of that comfort zone, right? And kind of trying something new and being okay to learn to fail and learn from it and grow.
Right. We encourage people in the organization to try things, knowing that it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And the only person who doesn't make a mistake is the person who doesn't do anything.
Great advice. Steve, Bill, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
To our viewers, thank you for joining us for another episode of Behind the Bell. Stay tuned at 4 o'clock. We're going to be ringing the closing bell with